How's it going, peeps? It's good to be with you again. It's Richard and back here once more, and today we're going to be taking a look at an RTA that's got that very similar airflow like the Griffin, the Gemini, or even the Heracles for the matter, where it's from the top and the bottom. You know, it goes from the top, cools down your coil, hits your coil directly, and then comes back up the center shaft again to your mouth, and that will give you great flavor and also vapor production as well. This is from the people who's given us Solo Mini 75 watt, that device. And without further ado, let's go ahead and check out the Reaper Plus RTA by Ijoy. Alright, so what do you say we have a vape before we move on? Pretty decent amount of vapor, and one thing I can vouch for, the flavor is definitely awesome. All because of the top airflow, which they've adopted from the Heracles airflow system, the top and the bottom as well. As you know, air goes from the top, goes down in between the center, the inner diameter of the shaft and the outer diameter. It's like they got two shafts in one. It travels all the way down, hit your coils, back up again from the center shaft to give you that great flavor and also vapor production as well. Meanwhile, the airflow on the Reaper Plus is area in comparison to the others. And if you like your lung inhales very airy, nice and easy, well, this is it. I think you might like that. Okay. Meanwhile, let's get on to some specs before we dive down into the close-ups. This measures 22.6 millimeters in diameter, so it's just a little over 22 millimeters. And on your box mods, it's not going to be much noticeable. Okay, it's not going to be very much different. It's just 0.6 difference, so you've got 0.3 on each side. On your mechanical mod, same. I've tried that on a mechanical mod, not very noticeable unless you really get close and look at the mechanical mod. Otherwise, you know, it looks good. Okay, the height is 49 millimeters in height from the base of the tank all the way up to the base of the drip tip. Capacity for this is 3.8 ml. Decent amount of juice you can put in there. Also comes with an RTA section, which is not much to shout about, sad to say. They need a lot of improvement on the RTA section. By the way, it's also a velocity deck RTA section, which we'll get to see in the close-ups. I'm going to show you why it needs improvement. Okay, it also includes a stainless steel 316L stock coil rated at 0.3 ohms and a pre-installed 0.4 ohms Kanthal coil. Okay, last but not least, it's got a spare Pyrex glass tank. Okay, time for some close-ups right now. Let's get down, come back, we'll vape on it, and I'll leave you with my thoughts. Catch you later. Close-up time with our Reaper Plus RTA from Ijoy, the jewel case that it comes in. As you can see, stock coil in there, RTA section, glass, and also the device in there. It says Reaper Plus here. Velocity, staggered Clapton, stainless steel, whatever all that means, with an equal sign here. Ijoy at the side, the brand, and also the usual certification logos and all that, and also product features here, content of the package, your scratch and check for authenticity of the device. Open up the cover and you have spares here, and just before that here teaches you how to fill up, you know, the juice from the fill port, top flow and top airflow intaking, lifting up the top cap and things like that. Okay, let's check out the spares here. Allen key, you've got some O-rings, pre-made coils, and also some spare hex screws here. And these hex screws are actually for your RTA section because they don't come with those hex screws in there. You've got cotton as well, Japanese cotton, Pyrex glass as usual, spare Pyrex glass, and then you have a stock coil here that's rated at 0.3 ohms, stainless steel 316L. Alright, so that's the stock coil that it comes with. That's your RTA section. We'll come to that shortly. Let's take the device out and have a look. So let's get up close. So this is your Reaper Plus RTA. Taking a look all around, you've got your airflow from the top here, airflow at the bottom, the Cyclops Cyclone Star airflow. Both sides measures 2 millimeter by 8 millimeter. This is smaller. This is probably 1.5 by 8 millimeters. Adjustable, and so is this as well, adjustable too. And be very careful, you might accidentally, you know, close up your juice flow if you're adjusting your airflow sometimes. So make sure your juice flow is always open. You can adjust the juice flow. If you're using thin liquid, then I suppose you don't open up entirely unless you're using thick VG juices or high VG juices, then you open it up full, right? Otherwise just keep it closed like that with thinner e-liquid. Underneath you've got your gold-plated 510 pin for better conductivity, and that's your drip tip. Delrin to keep heat away from your drip tip, right? Bigger bore on the top, smaller bore on the inside. You can actually replace this with your own personal drip tip if you'd like to. This comes with the top fill method, so all you got to do is just look for the little teardrop here. Once you see the little teardrop here, I don't know whether you can see that, just pull, and that's your fill port for you to fill in juice. Okay, once you're done, push it back and close it off. Alright, the dimension for the height of this is from here, the base, all the way right up to the top here at the base of your drip tip will be 49 millimeters, and the tank is actually 22.6 millimeters in diameter. Alright, you can actually open up the tank just anti-clockwise. That's your stock coil there. We'll put this aside and take a look at the stock coil. Pre-installed, you've got a 0.4 ohm Kanthal coil here, which is the same as the stainless steel, 0.4 ohm. That's what it says there. Firing recommended 35 to 100 watts. And there is your vertical coil. Again, I think it's a triple vertical coil in there. Same thing, you've got your wire gauze there to prevent spit back, your contact, and that's your airflow at the bottom here. Now that's the stainless steel coil, just in case you didn't have a good look at it earlier on, 0.3 ohms. Firing between 35 to 80 watts. And that's stainless steel 316L. Right, so that's your stock coil there. That's the base of it. And you can also open up this part as well. Comes off like that. This entire thing is one piece. And you have your Pyrex glass, silicone rings around here. There's a replacement in the spares bag in white. If you want to change it in white, you can also do so. And that's how your juice flow actually works. If you just put your air, you can turn it from the inside. This is your RTA section. It says Ijoy at the side here. You've got your airflow from the bottom. There's an airflow hole at the bottom here, if you can see. That's your velocity deck. However, the velocity deck, the post, it's open on the other end as well. It's better if they just have this blinded so that when you screw down your hex screw, it doesn't go through and snap your wire. Okay, so that's a major con there. You should blind this other side up. Right, and you have your air hole here. From the bottom, as I said, the air hole goes from here right up underneath your coil. That's your contact, and that's your juice channel. Very large juice channels. And that's the little O-ring here. So this is the problem that I'm facing, because this O-ring, when you screw it down, okay, it's supposed to seal up against the sides here so that e-liquid that goes into the juice hole doesn't seep through the O-ring and into this little contact here and come up from your air hole. Okay, but the problem is when you're screwing this down, alright, and if you take a look, you see this O-ring at the side here. Sorry, I'm going to put this aside because it's focusing that. This O-ring here, as you can see, is squeezed up. Yeah, I don't know whether you can see that. I'm going to try and bring the light a little bit closer. You see this O-ring here? It's all squeezed up, and that means you actually do have a gap for your juice to actually go through here and into this pod here and come up from your air hole. Alright, so you see all this? You see this? There's one major flaw there. I've already had 2 tanks leak out on me and into my mod, so this is really not good. You see that? See that O-ring? How it gets squeezed up? Yeah. No matter how you do it, take it off and I slowly put it back and screw it in very slowly. I've tried all kinds of methods and eventually it still gets squeezed. You see what I mean? So that's a major flaw there, where juice is gonna get in here. Even if you have lots of cotton in here, it's gonna go through the cotton and leak into the inside of this and come up from your air hole and go into your mod. So that's a major flaw there for the RBA section. And the other thing is the RBA section is also got a very small deck. Okay, I wouldn't attempt using 3mm diameter coils. Okay, the biggest I think I would ask you to use would be 2.5mm in diameter. I tried using 3mm, but it's touching this cap here, so it's going to cause a short. Okay, so that's the RBA section for you. So that's it, and just put back your stock coil. You'll be better off using just the stock coil, and put the glass back, this portion, and the glass, and eventually this. So this is the Reaper Plus RTA. We'll get back topset, we'll vape on it, we'll talk some more. Alright, so guys, welcome back to FaceTime and time to give you my thoughts on the Reaper Plus RTA. But just before that, let me take a vape. Oh yeah, you know, when it comes to flavor, it's awesome. Okay, so if you're a flavor chaser, this is really good. That I can vouch for. Decent amount of vapor production as you've seen. So on the whole, this is pretty good. Okay, with the spare Pyrex glass, you never know when you're going to need it. You might just accidentally crack it. You know you've got a spare Pyrex glass in there, so great stuff. Nice gold 510 contact pin for better conductivity. Big juice flow as well for those of you who likes vaping on thick juices, you know, high VG juices. All you got to do is just open up that juice flow and you should have no problems at all, no dry hits. Okay, now the RBA section, that's something I want to just point out. It could be done much better. It needs to be improved. Way too many flaws on it. For one, the post holes, I think they need to blind those post holes on the other side so that when you screw in those hex screws, it doesn't go through and, you know, cut off your leads. All right. And the other thing is the size of the deck needs to be bigger to accommodate for bigger coils. Right now, if you've got a 3mm diameter coil in there, it's going to touch the chimney cap and just short out. So they need to, you know, make that deck a little bit bigger. Otherwise, what I'm using right now, I'm using the RBA section. I've got 2.5mm in diameter coils and also using 26 gauge. All right. That O-ring in there, that's the major cause of those big leaking issues I've had. In fact, I've rebuilt this twice, and twice, this is the third time I'm building it. Okay, 2 times I've got my whole entire tank just drain out, juice going into my mod because of those rubber O-rings as you've seen in the close-ups. Okay, so I think they, in short, Ijoy has got to get that RBA section back to their drawing board and redesign it and come up with some major improvements on it. A lot of us like rebuilding our own coils, and if that's the RBA section we're getting, many of us are going to be mightily disappointed. Okay, so the RBA section, I think major improvement needs to be done. Okay, other than that, on the whole, the tank vapes very nicely. Okay, if you're thinking of getting it, price and place. Okay, Malaysia, it's being retailed for 130 ringgit. You can get that from Vapor Hub Malaysia. They've got 3 branches. You can call up any of their branches, and find out if they have stock. Okay, 130 ringgit. I googled up For in the US, you can get it from Vapor DNA. They're retailing this for $29.99 US dollars. All right. So basically, that's about it. One more vape, we'll call it a wrap. Really good flavor, that's for sure. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support. Until I talk to you again, vape safe. Bye for now. God bless.